but the ladies are getting their AC/DC on. They're back in black here on center.
I like it. I like it. We've got at least 3 in the all black.
Oh, there we
George
go.
is ruining the party.
George has got the Franklin hoodie, a little more beige or cream there in color, but this is going to be a great match. We've got Jessie Irvin at the top of the screen. Let's play pickleball. Great first point, and the other big discussion point obviously here is Catherine Parenteau won last week with Anna Leigh Waters, but this isn't her audition week. It's Anna Bright.
Exactly. No, neither her nor Anna Bright has lost with Anna Leigh Waters, but it makes you wonder in that audition, how important is it when you don't have Anna Leigh to still make a good run, you know, to impress her, if you will, or just show that your level's always there. That's one of the big changes we expect to see in Lindsay Newman's game, especially. Such a great setup player when she plays with her brother. They've had a ton of success, but in the women's game, she is going to need to be more offensive. Great job there.
Second serve. Zero, 0-2.
Catherine just sitting on that ball in the middle, read the book and smoked it at Lindsay.
Yes, that's so much versatility. Definitely if that ball's to the left side of her body, very comfortable using that two-handed backhand.
And that is just pure evil from Georgia Johnson.
That's the second aggressive roll two-handed dink that we've seen pay dividends. And I think the conditions with it being cold is really going to play into her game style with having some weapons, being more of a ball striker and an aggressive player.
Yeah, you see that Johnson and Parenteau are choosing to start to play this straight up. That's a great point for Lindsay Newman. The defense we know, but then came flying in for the big forehand volley finish.
Yeah, and I think if you're Georgia Johnson there, knowing that that roll was more of a neutral, slightly defensive shot, probably would have been best served going to the player further back that couldn't hurt her there.
Nice swat from Georgia Johnson. We've seen her going at the guys all day. You know she's going to go at the ladies, too.
Well, and showing some variety there. It's the first time I've seen her use the one-handed kind of roll out front as well. So she's got the power. She's got the variety. Good start for her.
Oh, my. Get to your protractors, geometry students. These angles from Georgia are ridiculous.
Well, and that's the shot that not all, even the top women have, is that one-handed backhand roll. It allows you to reach further into the kitchen, and I haven't seen her use that this much before, but it looks beautiful.
That's why they've kept her on offense on the left side, and why not? My goodness, she's got that perfectly dialed in here. And there's the win factor, pulling the ball back towards the net, and it's just not where you think it's going to be.
Yeah, tough for the TV to translate that, but I guarantee you that thing changed flight paths on Lindsay just before she struck it.
Point.
And Parenteau and Johnson off to a great 4-0 start. They are playing slightly into the end. As Kyle mentioned, it is swirling. Tough ball to redirect from her ankles there for Irvin. And 5 in a row, and paddles are down Kyle early. So terrific start to this match for Catherine Parento and Georgia Johnson. And, you know, let's reset, everybody. Where are we at here? So here we are. Quarterfinal matchups are as you see them in front of you. We've got Waters and Bright. As we mentioned, Anna Bright back together with Anna Leigh Waters. They've looked great every time they've played together. They will play Regina Franco Goldberg and Lacey Schneemann, who had a terrific week last week with Jade Kawamoto, made the final. So that is a red-hot player. We've got the match in front of you. We have the match that we just did a check-in. Kovalova and Smith are up 6-3 in game 2, so that might go 3. And then Jansen and Jones, who just hit the podium every week now. They're like a machine against a very good team that has also reached championship Sunday together, Arina Terashenko and Etta Wright.
And I love how the storylines change every single week. I could be wrong, but this is the first time that I've seen Vivian David and Megan Dazan play together. They're pushing the number 2 seed here in Kovalova and Smith. And just as you do that partner flip-flop, it changes the strategy, changes the variables. And it seems like there's always one team that emerges that find that good sauce.
Yeah, because Schneemann and Kawamoto had never set foot on the court before. So they were like, you know, we'll see what happens. We'll make it to championship Sunday.
Sometimes those blind dates or borderline blind dates just end up working out.
So lots of intrigue here as we get the quarterfinals underway with the ladies. And this one is wildly one-sided so far, and Georgia Johnson has been just terrific with the offense. Just wide there as Lindsay Newman tried to get in that scorpion position, but sort of backward and just pushed it wide. It is 7-0.
Well, and like you said, Johnson and Parento are just being the aggressors right now, and it's paying off. I'd like to see when, you know, Irvin and Newman get to neutral in a point to look to take a little more risk with their dinks and move their opponents, not just be content with just simply making balls.
There's a nice response from Lindsay Newman right there as Georgia again goes to that one-handed flick. Man, if this is coming, look out, everybody.
Yeah, putting the pickleball world on notice with that shot.
I mean, that is a phenomenal return from Georgia Johnson.
Yeah, right in the corner, deep, flat, very aggressive. She's playing lights out to start here.
See, Newman and Irvin are going to try it the other way here since they are down. And that one catches the tape, so a little strategy chain. Jessie Irvin goes to the left, and they get on the board.
And they're wanting to test that consistency of Georgia Johnson. They know she has the offense. They know she has the weapons. They're wanting to put her to the test to say, can she do this all match long and just make a lot of balls?
And there you saw, got the referee to get the players in the right position. You switch, and you sort of lose track of the score. Ooh, big swing from Georgia there. Finds the net, so... Lindsay Newman has made 6,427 balls where it looked like it was over in 2023 alone.
Yeah, classic Newman style. Just one more ball in play can certainly frustrate and aggravate opponents.
That goes wide. So the hot start for Georgia. A couple errors creeped in here, and just showing a different look with Irvin on the left has paid dividends.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the best formation for them. I think the backhand slice stink of Irvin will keep Georgia Johnson a little more honest, whereas Newman's super consistent but doesn't have as much spin on her dinks. They're not as penetrating.
Second serve.
You see Parento, she sprints to high five. She's when it's just, we're ahead, I'm getting to the line.
Realizing that partner chemistry is everything. Make sure your partner's feeling good when they miss a shot.
And then pick your partner up by shaking and baking your own ball and winning it. That's just what Catherine's doing right now. Great partner and great play. Couldn't get on top of that one, so nice attack from Lindsey Newman.
Yeah, able to find the body. A lot of times with players, when they use one or two hands, sometimes they are committed to that two-hander and they're a little bit vulnerable there.
Oh, and the Lindsey Newman willpower is not transferable, Jesse. I'm sorry. She tried. She gave it the full effect, but that had to be Riley or nobody. Sorry. Oh, and when Jesse is feeling confident and comes in and rolls that one-handed backhand, that is deadly. Obviously, that one was all about the tape, but it's a good attack. There's exact same shot.
Yeah, and you see how she really handcuffed Georgia Johnson there. She has great fast hands, but anytime you get that kind of into that right armpit, it's tough to get down on it and tough to get that extension and power.
5-8-2.
Okay, and a little volume from Jesse Irvin after that miss and a nice drop, and we are at 6-8 here. Big comeback after being down 6-0.
Yeah, I feel like that's a little gamesmanship from Irvin there, trying to test the confidence of Georgia Johnson. They know her capability, but if her confidence can waver, they're thinking her game will dip.
And that goes deep, and the Parento paddle is now down, so what a rally. A very smart strategic move. We're getting hammered. It's a big deficit. Let's try Jesse on the other side, and look at this. 7-8 here in game number 1. Let's check in on our other quarterfinal going on right now, and looky here, it's game 3, and you see Megan Dazan and Vivian on the left side. A little lob from Viv. And unfortunately a ball on there. So it's like when a car came and you were playing in the street.
It's always tougher to deal with that when you're in the middle of a really great point, but you know, part of the process here.
Yeah. So that one looks like it's going to go down in the wire. We'll see if again its side is so critical. Newman and Irvin are trying to say side doesn't matter here on center as they've come roaring back.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure how each of these teams would come out as far as stacking or formation, but kind of as I expected, they started seemingly straight up to be able to give themselves the option to make that change. They're all very versatile pro players. They can do a lot of things. Here we go.
So the weather, you can see it's just 50 degrees and there's a decent chance of rain. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Let's hope that does not happen. Good try there by Jesse Irvin. And so coming out of the timeout, they do indeed get the ball back and still have the lead, but it is the narrowest of margins.
8-7-1.
And Lindsay just sitting there. Her forehand was up in the air before that ball was even struck.
Yeah, for a lot of people, that location will jam them. For the Newmans with the grips that they use, that's usually a no-go zone.
Okay. And the final Newman willpower is not there. It's entertaining just watching Lindsay. Don't even watch the other three players on the court.
I think it worked the first two times in that point, but couldn't go 3 for 3 there. And mentally, so big for Johnson and Parento to get off at 8 when you feel that other team coming back. It's nice to just get 1 point and keep heading the right direction.
Again, Parento and Johnson going forward and Irvin and Newman going backwards, and we are at game point.
10-7-2.
Ooh, the one-hander that was so good earlier doesn't come through there.
And to her credit, I think it was the right time to take the hand off to maximize that reach. Just couldn't quite get that one to clear the net.
So a game point saved.
Second serve.
It's making that shot look routine now, Dave.
Yes.
7-10-2.
Oh, and Irvin was there on the sort of swing and slide from Parento there.
Yeah, you know, the two-hander gives you more power because you can rotate your body, but it's easy to sometimes over-rotate and pull that ball wide.
Game point number 2. And the leap up in the air from Lindsay Newman does not propel Jessie Irvin forward fast enough. And after all that defense from the baseline, nice smart shot in the front court, and Parento and Johnson take game number 1.
Yeah, and they didn't panic. You know, it's always a little frustrating when you hit a couple slams and your opponents seemingly get everything back, but they just kept staying in a good position, didn't try to do too much, eventually got the error.
Yeah, and you mentioned they didn't panic. They didn't panic when they're but they stayed in front the whole way. So Parento, Johnson take game number 1. Welcome back, everybody. You got to subscribe. You can't miss this amazing action, and all you got to do is subscribe, and there's prizes. We love prizes.
And in addition to the prizes, you're going to know when all this great pickleball is going
Exactly,
on. So
Kyle.
it's a win-win.
And it has been a win-win for Jessie Irvin when she's played Catherine Parento and Georgia Johnson. She was 2-0 against this team, but with Jackie Kawamoto by her side. So we'll see if they can rally here. And all about the net sliding there. And we've had several outfit changes here as well for both Jessie and Lindsay. We'll see. And Georgia, for that matter. So, again, you go out, you have a couple extra layers on, and then you feel comfortable, Kyle.
Yeah, I think you don't want to start cold, right? So you're going to start extra warm. As you're in the heat of battle, it's kind of normal to, as the sweat starts coming, you take the layers off and go from there.
Oh, my goodness. The lob, track down, clean winner. No one's in center field.
Yeah, and it looked like Lindsay really expected another lob or a drop to come back up. She went to jump the kitchen, and Jessie just didn't realize she was doing that and didn't slide all the way over.
Yeah, and you've got Lindsay back on the left side here. Oh, thanks to the urging. Oh, and the ATP comes up just short for Lindsay Newman. And just a little frustration as they walk over to the corner, and that includes a timeout. So a little disjointed on the ball down the middle. An unbelievable ball by Parento, but then ball rolls over on the tape, miss an ATP, and it all sort of compounds.
Yeah, I think when you kind of just feel that you're not in a good rhythm, just take a timeout, regroup, go from there. There's still plenty of time left here in game 2.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is when you look at what's going on with your game, you got to get in sync quickly, and especially if you think you're on the good side. Here we are over to the grandstand, and again, quite a battle here in game 3, Kyle. 5-4 Kovalova and Smith, who are on the near side. And there you see that big rope from Megan Dazan. No one hits that harder than she does.
She's got just about as much power as anybody in the women's game on her volleys and her drives. Certainly getting tight out there.
So we'll keep an eye on that. Couldn't be closer. 5-5 on the grandstand. Not 5-5 here. 5-zip. Another great start for Catherine and Georgia. And, you know, this is a team where you looked at it and you're like, I think these two can really do it. They haven't had the results that they desire. They are, as a team, 7-3, so not a bad record, but not quite where they'd like to be yet. And Jesse Irvin back on the left, and that is a vicious one-hander right there.
Yeah, that's a see you later ball right there. She was all over that, got the paddle above the ball, really trusted her shoulder to swing through that all the way.
Second serve.
Yeah, just a heavy, heavy roll there from Georgia Johnson right at the feet of Jesse Irvin.
5-2.
And Jesse unable to make a couple of balls there to get them to the kitchen, so still 5-0.
Second serve.
You know, if you're Parento and Johnson, you know there's a lot of trouble on the other side. You want to add and add some more.
Point.
Yeah, no, absolutely right, Dave. You know how good of players Jesse Irvin and Lindsay Newman are. You know they're not playing their best yet, so this is where you want to build as big a lead as possible before they start playing kind of their standard level.
And it is one-handed backhand flip from the left side of the court, Day.
It's the class is in session
Yes.
right now, Dave. Another beautiful one there from Jesse Irvin.
And that's a great, man, Georgia just slaps those balls that are up so well. Deep in the court, but plenty of margin still.
Yeah, I'd like to see Irvin and Newman maybe try a drive-drop combo as a way to get in. It seems like their drops are floating a bit on them. They're just really struggling to advance beyond the transition line, or transition zone, rather.
Yeah, that is several opportunities in a row that just didn't even get to neutral and get to the kitchen. Nice inside out from Jesse Irvin there.
Threw a little shoulder fake in there. Shoulders going one way, paddle going the other way. If you just get your opponent leaning off balance, much more likely to draw the error.
6-0-2.
And the little flick from Johnson goes deep. So if you're Irvin and Newman, it's like, hey, okay, we
This is
call
go time.
timeout. Yeah, we're still at 0. All right. Now they're not scoring a bunch now, but we got to go. And all that defensive work finally pays off. They were in the kitchen for like one quick grape, and then they were thrown out of the kitchen.
Yeah, they're still struggling to bring the point to
Yes.
neutral. Good defense there to draw the error, but again, they might want to think of a different way to move forward.
Just wide, and there's a second ball. So they're going to keep making balls and try and work their way up. You saw the Parento move to the left on the last rally. She'll go there again.
Second serve.
All right, so we are 2-6 here, and we are 7 apiece on the grandstand. So this is quite a moment potentially on the grandstand for David and Design.
Side out.
And again, the aggressive dinking from Johnson and Parento is paying dividends there. A really beautiful forehand slice dink there from Georgia Johnson.
Point.
And the net is not kind to Irvin and Newman.
2-1.
8-7 for Kovalova and Callie Smith. And Catherine Parento just hammering two-handed backhands.
And I would say maybe 6 months ago or so is when we started seeing Parento really get much more aggressive off the bounce, add that to her game, and she's really a complete player these days.
Hear the fire of Callie Smith on the grandstand there. That's 8 apiece.
Well, we've seen upsets just about every single week, Dave. Might have another one here brewing.
8-2-2. Point.
And now 9 for Dazan and David.
9-2-2. Side out.
Dazan and David trying to do a little shake and bake there. The drive just sat up just enough to let them volley down, and David couldn't straighten out that reset.
Vivian David cheering on Megan Dazan.
We talked about the Dazan put away power. Any ball up, it's see you later.
And Megan Dazan with great defense on the grandstand.
Yeah, she slightly popped it up, but she anticipated where Kovalova was going to attack, and great job with the two-hander.
And a really long point on the championship court goes the way of Newman and Irvin. So we will have match point for Dazan and David on the grandstand. Timeout called, so we'll keep an eye on that. Irvin and Newman hoping that long rally can inspire them. Jesse asking for a timeout. There were a lot of balls struck in that one. And she waits till the last possible second to put the paddle down. We're going to stay here as we've got, of course, both courts go to timeout within 30 seconds of each other. But, I mean, this is a big, big moment as we go over to grandstand. Megan Dazan's got a chance to propel her and Vivian David into the next round with a huge upset. Kovalova and Smith won the Minnesota tournament, did not play in Daytona, so they came in here with a lot of confidence. And that goes deep, and it is Dazan and David with an upset victory over Kovalova and Smith. Big hugs for those two as the 7 seed sends the 2 seed to the back draw. That's a huge win for those two.
Well, we saw Schneemann and Kawamoto last week make the run all the way to the finals. 2 players that haven't played together. David and Dazan here looking to make a similar run. That's a huge victory for them, knocking off the 2 seed.
And that power of Dazan paid off at the end, and all the steady, awesome play of Vivian David. My goodness. Okay, so you heard Irvin, and that was one of those timeouts that's taken because I just ran around I did a 5K in one rally.
So I need to get my heart rate right,
let's
Dave. Let's get that settled, and then we'll play the next point.
Let's get some hydration. Let's review everything here.
And if you're, fans of Newman and Irvin, it's good to see, even though they're down, they're smiling, they're cheering in these big points. They're still ready to compete despite the scoreline here.
Just too much firepower from Catherine Parento there.
Yeah, again, they just weren't able to advance past midcourt. That seems to be the biggest theme here in this match of extending points, but not really putting that court positioning pressure on their opponents.
And that catches the net, and it's just hard to defend for that long. I really like how aggressive Georgia Johnson's being on the left side there too, Kyle.
Yeah, they're aiming for big targets, but they're not letting up. They're using their spin. They're not always hitting the ball as hard as they can, but they're dictating with their spin to give them that positional advantage.
And they are just constantly trying to throw one more ball back. It's entertaining to watch. It's certainly not entertaining for Newman and Irvin. And this pressure continues, and this is potentially it right here. Match point. And that will do it. So Catherine Parento and Georgia Johnson, just way too much offense today.
Yeah, and Newman and Irvin, it really looked like they went in with a game plan of testing the consistency of Georgia Johnson, but it was ultimately her offense and her consistency that dictated from start to finish here.
Yeah, way too good. Parento had some nice flurries in there as well, but she just really had to be a solid partner as Georgia just dictated all over the place. So looky there, that team is something to keep an eye on the rest of the day. So we had Parento and Johnson winning here. We had Dazan and David winning on the grandstand. We'll be back with more beautiful doubles pickleball right after this.